What's going on, y'all? It's J Smoke Reviews here, back at it again with another video. As you guys can see by the title today, we are going to be talking about Mike P. A lot of different noise going on in battle rap. I saw the Mecca event was announced. I'm going to have predictions out for that. Obviously, I've talked about Born Legacy, you know what I'm saying? But with Mike P and his situation with Born Legacy, him canceling the Jack Boy battle for reasons that we're going to talk about, even understandable reasons at that, he clearly is at this crossroads right now, very publicly unhappy with his situation at URL, the way he's booked. And as you guys know, I got Bookem. I love booking plans. I love the science of booking and battle rap. And what we're going to do today is actually address, first of all, kind of where I stand with Mike's rant and just where I think he is as a talent in terms of compared to where he said, if I believe he's valid in his complaints, which, spoiler, I do to a degree agree. And then from there, we're going to go into a classic Bookem format where I list the 5 next best matchups for Mike that I think could really meet in the middle with him, give him opportunities, and even kind of give an idea of what cards I could see them on. But first, let's go into Mike's situation. So to go further in Mike's situation, first we're going to address his main complaint, and that's the way the Sharon battle was dealt with. And the reason we're going to address it first is because it's really the one I agree with him most on. He said he bodied Sharon. He did win very clear. I did have him losing a round, but obviously big win over Sharon. It was a light work, which I think has to, kind of be contextualized a little bit. But Mike's third was amazing. The time-based third, and as he said, broke the light work concept. I believe light work kind of broke itself a little bit, but. Obviously, what an incredible battle towards the end of the light work program. And it gets a really big win on Sharon, you know what I'm saying? And I think that it's not like you go from there to SM, but he could have gradually been booked up more and more towards bigger plates from there. And they did just let him sit for 6 months and really don't book him again until Chaos, which is a mid battle, which he has to take some accountability in. But he also won clear. So how much are you going to dock him for that, right? So Sharon win, definitely really good, and they didn't capitalize on that momentum. And I can understand the frustration of a guy that, in general, fans will make a meme of him. As talented as Mike is, he's got the obvious angles that we could talk about, and kind of the way that he goes about things when he's angry can be a little I don't want to say the word whiny, especially when things are valid, but I think when he tries to kind of articulate his frustrations at times, sometimes it can come off a little dragging, even if he's right, because there's just a lot. The truth is that Mike complains a lot about his situation. But with that being, or I wouldn't say his situation, but his rank, because this is really the first time complaining about the URL situation like this. But in general, he's always outwardly spoken. I'm top tier. I'm above this. I'm more skilled than this. But don't let the way he gives his message not give his message, validity. The way they booked him post Sharon is not good. Even if you think Mike is a mid-tier, which I personally do, I think he's one of the highest ranked mid-tiers on the brink of top tier. And I think that if they were to book him more productively, the optics of it as he spoke to, even give him another sink or swim chance, there is a chance for him to reach that to the public once again and be in that conversation. Now, while I do agree with him fully on that Sharon front, the flip side is him talking about how he's top tier, no question. It's crazy if you question it. For me, this is one of the big things that goes in the top tier is your performance rate against other top tiers. And when I look at Mike's resume, I look at his top tier matchups: Suge, Daylight, JC, Geechee Gotti, one rounder, you know what I'm saying, but T-Top, Danny Myers, Sharon, and B-Dot. It's a very good list of names right there. I did have him losing clear to Suge. I know that's one that he debates over time, but I think he just didn't prepare quite right for the situation, thought it was going to be something else, and got caught. He admitted himself he lost to Daylight. Very good battle, though. Lost to JC. Geechee Gotti's a one-rounder. The one that I agree with him was a setup. I don't think he had any chance of winning it, given the one-rounder, the time it was, where it was at. T-Top, 3-0 loss, can't have that. I did have him beating Danny Myers, closer battle than people give it credit for, but I do think it's Mike's win to have, as well as clearly beating Sharon, and then I had him losing to B-Dot in a good battle. So if you really fraction it all out, I have him at 2-6 in this 8 clip. Now 2-6 is not the worst. I mean, there's a lot of top tiers that don't shoot perfect, but for me, it's the clearness of some of these. T-Top was a very dominant loss. JC, a very dominant loss. Suge, closer on cam, but I think the optics were still rough for him. And the thing is, it's hard to just say you're for sure locked top tier when you've been given many of these top opportunities. And for the most part, I wouldn't say that you do bad by any means. There's good material all over this. but the results don't read of someone that's for sure top tier. And there's more good than bad. You even factor in the Chilla battle, which another battle that I had him losing that he was decent in, but I thought he lost even somewhat clear in that battle. So the moral of the story here is that I think Mike is on the brink of top tier. I think when he speaks on the booking, particularly, there hasn't been fairness, especially after the last few years. In the beginning, Mike was given tons of fair opportunities, and he's a very good big stage performer. I don't we'll see if they could mix and match some matchups. There may be a few top tiers he can get on the big stage. I think he even elevates when he gets up there. But the problem is if you're 2-6, 2-7 with this sample size, which I would say is just my opinion. I know that he's a lot of people would say some of these are debatable. Maybe Daylight. Some say Suge. For me, though, I don't view them as debatable battles. And I'm only speaking from my viewpoint of it, where I see a lot of the frustration in the booking, but I can understand he has been giving a lot of opportunities for his top tiers, and I'm not going to act like it's overly, like positive results. Even Bill, although that was kind of a lead up angle, the fall through, but eventually it can't just be the fall through, this and that. Not everything is a setup. If a couple more of these are debatable to the public, or a couple more of these are wins, I think that there is a different conversation to be had. But for me, that's just the one particular reason why I have problems considering Mike P top tier, is that performance rate versus top tiers. It's not bad, but it's just a little too under par for me to say that he's in that top category. But with those things being said, I'm big on solutions, even though that, there was a little bit of critique there maybe that would go against some of the things Mike said. I think there is battles that he should be able to get. I am big on sink or swim. You got to give the guy at least the opportunity to get killed if you think he's going to get killed. And a lot of times they could exceed expectations and win or make something great. That's how stars are made. You got to give guys chances. So let's get into the booking portion of this, where I give the 5 matchups I think would work best for Mike, build him up properly. And starting right at the number 5 spot, a battle I would like to see is Mike P versus Fonz. Now, for anyone that sees the way I build these, 5 is the one I usually think is most unlikely, but I try to be a little creative. I think something that could be smart, but is maybe a slept-on matchup to book. And then from there, we'll book matchups that I actually think would work for him, with number 1 being the next best one for him. And Fonz at 5 for me is just good. I think Fonz is not top tier either. He's on that brink as well, but getting pushed a lot more, thoroughly. I think that, obviously had SM last year. It's looking like he's going to have Suge on SM this year, by the way that they're talking. Battled plenty of top tiers recently. He's one of those talents that you can see URL is trying to push to top tier this year. Give him the opportunities to prove himself. And I think what you get here is that while Mike isn't maybe what he's battling up to, I've seen Fonz take, some in-between battles, just some good rec. And I think that this has good potential. Mike's name is going to have buzz after this ranting. I think skill-wise, no one would disagree that he can definitely hang with Fonz, if not clear him. And it's one of those things where it's you bring the top guys that are trying to break into top tier, and that hunger, it's kind of like there's almost the pressure of, damn, whoever wins here could get that boost in this next big plate. It's just good. I think Fonz is a very respectable name, although not a top tier name for Mike to battle, and it could be on one of the top halves of really just a good card. You know what I'm saying? I think if it was on Born Legacy, it might be the best battle on the card, right? Things of that nature. So big fan of Mike and Fonz if it could get booked. I know it's unlikely, and to me would just be a good matchup stylistically, as well as benefit both, especially if the battle's great. From there, we can go into my number 4 pick, and at number 4, I have DNA. DNA, a guy who's kind of battling, I feel like, around this level of opponent. Him and Chaos was booked, obviously canceled, you know what I'm saying? I would say Mike is obviously a step above Chaos, but Chaos is considered in that, when he was getting booked for DNA, in that realm of trying to make a push, right? He's also talking about battling Jerry West on SM, another guy who's doing great this year, and I think could be top tier if booked right. Another guy who also hasn't always done great with his shots in the past. Couple good ones, John, Danny, similar to Mike with Danny. But if he's willing to take these, why not take Mike P, maybe even in a volume? DNA versus Mike P in a volume. 2 guys I think would be extremely, I wouldn't say underrated, but maybe are at their best in that type of setting. So giving them a chance, I'd be totally for that. I just think it'd be good stylistically. Definitely a top-tier shot. I don't know if DNA would take it, but DNA's always big on staying active and getting a certain amount of plates in. Mike talked about how he hasn't been on volume since the first 2. It would be a good matchup for any undercard. I don't think too many would complain at it. Not saying it's a fan favorite, but it would be a good battle and even a better battle for skill for those that really appreciate what these guys do on a technical level. So at number 4, I have DNA. At number 3, as we get into the top 3 matchups, I do have Mike P versus Rum Nitty. Now, I know people in general, whenever Nitty's name is going to get brought up next to someone that's not a legend at this point, there's almost immediate pushback. And as a big Nitty fan myself, I understand that, but you can't wait on a group of 2 to 3 guys that just seem to not want to battle, or it takes a lot to get them in the ring. A lot of things have to line up perfectly, even outside of just regular, I want to battle, you want to battle. And he is going to take those plates and give shots to especially those that deserve it. He just battled Flair's Soul. He's talking about battling Ace on SM. If the Calico battle falls through, Nitty's a warrior, and I think Nitty versus Mike P is good. They battled on the quarantine for the 1 round, but that's really not much of anything. On the video cam, I think that Nitty would be willing to take it. It'd be a very challenging matchup for Mike, but it might bring the best out of him. And even if it's no matter what the result is, I think it's good because he's going to rap really good, and he's going to make sure his half of the footage is good, and it has the possibility to be an explosive battle, a very well-written and creative battle. Nitty's just always willing to give shots. The story isn't there crazy like that, but another top-tier opportunity that could get booked, right? Nitty is, if you look at the way Nitty books, I don't think you'd say, oh, it's impossible. He wouldn't battle Mike, and it would benefit both. So for me, I think that's just another good shot that they could give Mike. And then we get into the top 2 matchups here. And at number 2, this one is a very storied matchup that is supposed to have gone down many times. I would love to see Mike P versus Tay-Rock. What can be said, and I think especially with the way you see Rock booking recently, he battled Snake Eyes, he battled Stumbles, he's going to battle Cuban, he can battle Mike P. Right now, I think that really should have been, when he was doing all these side mission battles, that's really the first one that he should have taken, in my opinion. And as Mike, if he's looking like, I can't get Rock right now, but Stumbles can, that will kill an artist that is frustrating, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know if it's, an SM, this and that. I don't, those bigger, maybe big stage cards, maybe it could be undercard for it. But no matter where it goes down, even if it goes down an outside card, it's going to be a fire battle. There is storyline there. I think, Mike was supposed to join GT in the beginning, right? But even if it wasn't just those angles, the way they rap, the explosiveness, the way that Rock has developed as a pure rapper, and the way Mike just is as a pure rapper, there's going to be tons of pockets in that battle, tons of explosive haymakers, and they're really 2 high-level performers. Obviously, Rock, the more high-level, but Mike's energy on the stage there's evidence that proves for it. It's just a good battle, and to me, Mike P versus Tay-Rock would be that opportunity that I think Mike would really, really try to seize the moment in. And that leaves you with the final battle here, and this is someone who, as well as battled around a lot recently, someone in a bit of a slump, and I actually think it's a winnable battle for Mike while still being that top-tier look that he wants. And for me, a great battle for Mike P next would be Mike P versus Chess. The way that they're using Chess in booking right now, obviously just battle Mac, that was terrible. It was the 1-rounder event. I'm not going to go into it, tweeted about it, but just really not a good look. The Tink the Demon battle in a 3-rounder. If Chess can do a 3-round band battle versus Tink the Demon, would it not be more productive to give that opportunity to like a Mike, someone, because Tank's not going to win that battle, right? Anyone to watch the battle, he didn't win. He even got around, you know what I'm saying? But he just didn't have the energy or, the fuel in the tank to get through. Mike, for sure, would have the fuel in the tank to get through the battle. Even if he doesn't win, let's say Chess is great that day, there is a realm of possibility that Mike wins that battle. A good realm, if you look at Chess's recent strength of schedule, it is a top-tier name. It is going to build, it's just when you have to book productively. You see Chess kind of slumping here. He's talking about battling Lou Castro, battling Ace, battling Fawn. So around this level of battler, right outside of top tier, you're able to make Mike happy with a big plate, a plate that I would kind of have Mike winning going in. I think that he would rise to the occasion, and it's maybe the most winnable of all these big battles. And I don't think Chess is going to say no to the battle, considering the names he's called out. And with Chess's star power combined for the fact that Mike has a good following himself, it can make good cards. It can be, it could open up a gnome SM type of event. Although I think SM or either of those are kind of out the way. You know what I'm saying? We're heading past those events as we enter this kind of second half of the year. But even if it's volume, it's a good name. It checks all the boxes. It's the name. You can get it on a card of value. It's going to be good rapping. And I think this is the way you reward a guy. So for me, I think Chess versus Mike P would be a great battle for him next. But as I said, Tay-Rock, Rum Nitty, DNA, and even Fonz, there's matchups out there for him. And even if you're going to book him, let's say he loses. Let's say, as he's done with other top tiers, it kind of keeps going into the red. You got to give him the chance. You know what I'm saying? I think he's built up this momentum, and if he's not leaving, if he's not going to leave URL as it is, or if this isn't the end, and if they're willing to try to rectify and kind of throw him a bone in this situation, any of these matchups I think would work. I think he at least deserves one last big chance, if not two more. To really prove if he's for sure, at least to the general public, unquestionably in that top tier category. I know it's a split topic, and like I said, I think he's a high ranked mid tier. He might even be just one signature win away, from being in that top tier slot. But I would just love to see a little bit of a better performance rate against the best. But in order for that to happen, he's got to get the opportunity to battle some of the best. So those are my opinions on the Mike P situation. A little drama based, but since it's really focused on battle rap, booking, things of that nature, I kind of wanted to give a more detailed perspective, not just say, oh, give him a shot, give him this. These are specific matchups that I think could make sense for not just Mike, but for the other side, right? You got to get people to agree to the battle. So I think all of these, could make sense on both ways. Even if a couple don't, I think a couple do. And that's really, he really only needs a couple matchups that make sense to get booked and, work with, in a weird way, the momentum he's gained from kind of complaining about his situation. He's on a 2-battle win streak, in my opinion. One of them being a very good battle, you know what I'm saying, against a Sharon. And I think that any of these, he could have the opportunity to sink or swim, which is, a big thing I like to see in battle rap. But you guys let me know your opinions. Do you think Mike P is top tier? Let me know in the comments down below. But it's been J Smoke Reviews again, y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna catch you on the next one, man. Peace.